The big meal of the day is lunch. That is like, and it really makes sense when I think about it. Like, breakfast is just like they have these sandwich pressers. They're kind of like our George Foreman's, except they just use them for sandwiches. You have a piece of French bread, they cut it in half, ham, cheese, put it in the middle, press it, and that's your breakfast. And then some fruit juice. But it's very light. Dinner as well. Lunch is the big primary meal. That's the one that the members would usually feed us. Again, depending on your area, if you're in a smaller branch, you'll probably get 1 or 2 a week, and then the rest of it you kind of have to fend for yourself. But usually you get in an area where they're pretty good about it, and sometimes the members would even give you dinner, which we usually didn't even eat because lunch was so big that you don't have any appetite, for one, and two, you don't have time. Usually what lunch was is it's beans and rice. And usually the sisters would mix it up because like there's different kinds. There's black beans, there's pinto beans. There was this kind called feijão verde, which like they're kind of like our black-eyed peas except a little bit different. And every irmã, that's how they call the sisters, has a different way of making it. I didn't get tired of it. Then again, I don't really mind. There's some other people, I've talked to people that are like, no, I never want to see another thing of beans ever again. So it kind of depends on your personal preference. And then every once in a while you'd run into these families that really wanted to impress you, and so then they'd make like a lasagna. And lasagna in Brazil is different, at least in the Northeast. It's not like the traditional Italian lasagna. They use pasta noodles, and they use any kind of pasta noodles, like not just the lasagna ones, but they use like spaghetti, like the fettuccine, and they just kind of throw it all in there with sauce, and then they put in like ham and cheese, and then sometimes like corn and little peas, and then that's your lasagna, they call it, which it was actually really good. And then usually with the beans and the rice, what they do is they have beans and rice, and they have just plain spaghetti noodles and like a salad, which is like a couple pieces of lettuce and tomato. And then what you do is you take all that, you put it on your plate, and mix it all up, and then you just eat it. And they have this thing called farofa, which is kind of like a flour, and you can put that on top. Like I kind of talked about earlier, like lots of fruits. Loads and loads and loads. Fresh pineapple, like white pineapple. Like I talk to people and they're like, you eat canned pineapple? What? It's just like that idea is so foreign to them. The other one was avocados. They have huge avocados, like this big, down there. But they don't do guacamole. Like I talk to people, say, yeah, you make like guacamole. And I was like, what? No, like we cut it in half, put a little bit of sugar on it, and eat it like sweet. Like I had an avocado popsicle once. It was interesting because I never thought about it that way, but that's how they eat it. Like guacamole was just weird, avocados, abacaxi they call it. Bananas, I can't eat bananas now that I've come back to the States. I've had them a couple times because they have loads. Like they've got the big ones that are about yay long, or they've got little teeny tiny ones that are like super sweet like this. The ones that I liked were called banana leche, which are like, they're kind of the same size. The ones we have here are called casca verde because it's literally green peel. It's because like what we see, like they're green and then they turn yellow. But the ones that are most common down there that I liked were these leche ones, which are about the same size, but they're about that big around. And they're just like, and that's that big around after you peel it. And they're just really, like just kind of creamy and really, really, really good. And it was really common. We had this one sister where that was dessert. Like you would dice up a banana and you put condensed milk on top, like just a creamy condensed milk, and you're like, acai. You don't really have anything like it here. I've tried going to a couple places here in Provo that have it, and I haven't really found one that does it justice. It's the way they eat it in the Northeast, it's kind of like an ice cream, except that, or kind of more like a sherbet, except that it's not really that sweet. And so it's really common for them to like put like chocolate powder and this condensed milk and granola And then we actually got to the point. I got to the point where I could just eat it plain, just like I would. We bought for Christmas. We found this place where because they sell it at like these little shops, like ice cream shops, and that was another thing that's really interesting about Brazil is that you can find like these little mini supermarkets. Like they'd have a garage and they just buy lots of grocery supplies and they'd sell stuff out of their garage. It's like a mercadinho, little market they call it. And then they have the supermarkets, which is like your big places, like the traditional ones we would see here in the United States. But you could go to these mercadinhos, like, and pick up any little things that you needed, and those were just like next door or down the street. You didn't have to worry about going all the way. But you could find these places that would sell these like 5-liter boxes of acai for like 60 reais. And that was another thing, like real to the dollar when I was there was about 2.5. Now it's closer to about 5 or 6. So when you think about it, 50 reais for a box was like $25 for 6 liters, 5 liters. So I bought, like, for my birthday, I bought one of those and I just like ate it. And it's something that as a missionary it's probably not advised to do because it's really expensive. And you as a missionary you get, when I was there it was 120 reais for every 15 days. And then like what you can do with that is whenever you have like expenses, say like you go to a zone conference, those are usually expensive, you can write a little receipt and have the guy sign it, and you can turn that in, and then the mission office will give you that money back. I don't know how those policies work because they keep changing them all the time. So usually, but yeah, and then when you go into these areas that are poor, you'd sometimes have to take money out of pocket. But yeah, food was great.